Okay, this is our first question in our Chapter 6 HL test review. And the question gives us a curve that has the equation y equals e to negative x minus x plus 1, and it intersects the x-axis at point P. First part is to find the x-coordinate of P. Well, we already know that P sits on the x-axis, right? That means the y-coordinate of P equals 0. And so we set 0 equals e to negative x minus x plus 1. And once I plug that into the calculator, because it's too difficult to solve by hand, I get x equals around 1.28, giving the coordinates of P 1.28, 0. Now we need to find the area of the region completely enclosed by the curve and the coordinate axis. Well, in order to find the area underneath the curve, we need to take a look at integrals. So this is the integral of the curve e to negative x minus x plus 1 between when x equals 0 and between our coordinate, which is when x equals 1.28. This is how we write our integral function. We need to put dx next to our curve function to give us the idea that we need to antiderivative it. So that equals antiderivative of e to negative x minus x plus 1. So first, let's find the antiderivative of e to the negative x. Remember, the antiderivative of e to the x is just e to the x. The antiderivative of e to the negative x is e to the negative x, and we need to divide that by our coefficient negative 1. E to the negative x divided by negative 1 equals negative e to the negative x. Now we find the antiderivative of negative x. So we're just going to add 1 to the exponent. So x to the 1 power plus 1 equals x to the second power. And we divide that by this constant. And we were multiplying it by negative 1 to start out with. So the antiderivative of negative x is negative 1/2 x squared. Now the antiderivative of 1 is simply x, because the derivative of x is 1. We're trying to find this from 0 to 1.28. Now that can be written as, we plug in 1.28 for all the x's first. So negative e to the negative 1.28 minus 1/2 1.28 squared plus 1.28. And we subtract it with everything when we plug in 0. So negative e to the negative 0 power minus 1/2 0 squared plus 0 plus 0. Alright, that just gives us negative e to the negative 1.28 minus 1.28 squared over 2 plus 1.28 minus negative e to the 0 power. Remember, anything to the 0 power equals 1. So minus negative 1, that's plus 1, minus 1/2 times 0 times 0, which is 0, plus 0, which is 0. This is our answer, and once we simplify that and plug that in, we get that this is around 1.18. Therefore, the area of the region completely enclosed by the curve and the coordinate